The recent military conflict that erupted in June 2025 pitted two vastly different yet formidable military powers against each other. On one side stands the United States, a global superpower with unparalleled technological superiority and expeditionary capabilities. The U.S. military maintains a significant and influential presence across the Middle East. This includes approximately 40,000 troops stationed at key bases, such as the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, which serves as the central command hub for all regional air operations. This strategic footprint allows the U.S. to project power swiftly and decisively, leveraging advanced aircraft, sophisticated surveillance systems, and a powerful naval fleet, often including multiple aircraft carrier strike groups ready for deployment. Facing this conventional giant is the Islamic Republic of Iran, a regional power that has cultivated a unique military doctrine based on asymmetric warfare and strategic depth. Lacking the advanced air force or navy of its adversary, Iran has instead invested heavily in developing a large and diverse arsenal of ballistic and cruise missiles. These weapons are designed to hold regional targets at risk, serving as a powerful deterrent. Furthermore, Iran's military strategy relies on its Revolutionary Guard Corps and a network of proxy forces throughout the Middle East. This allows it to extend its influence and engage in conflicts indirectly, creating complex challenges for its opponents without resorting to direct state-on-state warfare. The primary strength of the U.S. military lies in its advanced technology and its ability to conduct precise, long-range strikes with overwhelming force. The U.S. arsenal includes weapons specifically designed to overcome hardened defenses, such as deep underground bunkers. Its command and control systems are integrated with allied nations, allowing for coordinated defense and offensive operations. This technological edge is complemented by a well-trained, professional military force capable of operating in complex environments. The presence of significant assets like the Combined Air Operations Center in Qatar ensures that any military action is centrally managed, maximizing its effectiveness and minimizing risks to personnel through careful planning and intelligence. In contrast, Iran's military power is fundamentally defensive and deterrent-focused. Its strategy acknowledges that it cannot win a conventional war against the United States. Therefore, it has built its capabilities around inflicting unacceptable costs on any attacker. A key component of this strategy is its ability to threaten critical global choke points, most notably the Strait of Hormuz, through which a significant portion of the world's oil supply passes. The threat of closing this waterway, combined with its missile program and proxy network, gives Iran leverage and a means to retaliate against sanctions or military action. This asymmetric approach ensures that even a technologically superior foe must consider the severe economic and political consequences of a direct conflict. The simmering tensions violently boiled over on June 21, 2025, with the execution of Operation Midnight Hammer. This joint U.S.-Israeli mission was a decisive and powerful strike aimed directly at the heart of Iran's nuclear ambitions. The operation, which followed earlier Israeli bombing runs that began on June 13, targeted three key Iranian nuclear facilities: the heavily fortified underground site at Fordow, the uranium enrichment facility at Natanz, and the research center at Isfahan. The United States deployed its most powerful conventional weapons for this attack, marking the first-ever operational use of the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator, a 30,000-pound bunker-buster bomb designed to destroy deeply buried targets. Iran's response was swift and calculated, demonstrating its willingness to retaliate while attempting to manage the risk of a full-scale war. Within hours, the Revolutionary Guard Corps launched a barrage of short and medium-range ballistic missiles at key U.S. and Israeli targets. The primary focus of their counterstrike was the Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, the nerve center of American military power in the region. Between 14 and 19 missiles were reportedly fired at the base. Simultaneously, Iran launched another wave of missiles and drones toward Israeli cities, including Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Jerusalem, bringing the conflict directly to the populations of its two main adversaries and signaling that attacks on its soil would not go unanswered. The ensuing moments showcased the effectiveness of modern missile defense systems. At Al Udeid, U.S. and Qatari forces activated their Patriot air defense batteries, successfully intercepting the vast majority of the incoming Iranian missiles. Official reports indicated that nearly all projectiles were destroyed before they could reach their targets, preventing any casualties among U.S. or Qatari personnel. A similar defensive shield was activated over Israel, where the Iron Dome and other systems worked to counter the Iranian salvos. This defensive success was a critical factor in preventing the conflict from spiraling into an even more destructive exchange, as it blunted the impact of Iran's primary retaliatory tool. While missile defenses proved effective, the initial strikes had already inflicted significant damage. Satellite imagery and U.S. government assessments confirmed that Operation Midnight Hammer had caused monumental damage to Iran's nuclear infrastructure, particularly at the underground Fordow site, which was heavily targeted by the massive ordnance penetrator bombs. Following the U.S. strikes, Israel conducted its own extensive missile barrage on Tehran, targeting government buildings, Revolutionary Guard headquarters, and symbolic sites. These strikes resulted in significant casualties, with human rights groups reporting at least 950 people killed in Iran, including hundreds of civilians, and over 3,400 wounded, illustrating the devastating human cost of the escalating violence. Throughout the 12-day conflict, both sides employed complex strategies that mixed aggressive military action with calculated measures aimed at controlling escalation. The United States and Israel sought to achieve a decisive military objective, the crippling of Iran's nuclear program, while signaling that their goal was not regime change or a full-scale invasion. The use of highly precise munitions like the massive ordnance penetrator was intended to surgically destroy specific targets, demonstrating overwhelming capability without resorting to widespread, indiscriminate bombing. President Trump's declaration that the strikes completely and totally obliterated the nuclear sites was a message of mission accomplishment, intended to create an off-ramp from further conflict. Iran, in turn, calibrated its response to show resolve without provoking an all-out war that it could not win. The missile attack on Al Udeid Air Base was a prime example of this strategic calculation. According to reports, Iran provided an advance warning to Qatar, the host nation of the base, before launching its missiles. This act allowed U.S. and Qatari forces to take shelter and evacuate non-essential personnel, ensuring there were no American casualties. By targeting the base infrastructure, rather than personnel or surrounding civilian areas, Iran sent a clear message of its capability and willingness to strike back, while deliberately avoiding the kind of mass casualty event that would have made a massive U.S. counter-retaliation almost certain. Another key element of strategy involved public warnings and psychological operations. Before launching its most extensive missile attacks on Tehran, the Israeli military issued evacuation warnings for several districts of the Iranian capital. This tactic, while not eliminating civilian harm, was framed as an effort to minimize it, placing the onus on the Iranian government to protect its people. It served a dual purpose, applying pressure on the Iranian regime and attempting to adhere to international norms regarding civilian protection in conflict. These warnings highlighted a strategic communication effort running parallel to the military strikes, as each side sought to shape the narrative of the conflict in its favor. Beyond direct military exchanges, Iran also signaled its capacity for asymmetric warfare by threatening to disrupt global commerce. The Iranian parliament passed a symbolic vote supporting the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, a vital artery for international oil shipments. While the final decision rested with Iran's Supreme National Security Council, the threat alone was a powerful strategic tool. It reminded the United States and the global community of the severe economic consequences of a prolonged conflict. This move showcased Iran's strategy of leveraging its geographic position to create disproportionate economic pain, a classic asymmetric tactic designed to deter a more powerful conventional adversary from pushing the conflict too far. After nearly 2 weeks of intense military exchanges, the conflict drew to a close with the announcement of a ceasefire on June 23, 2025. President Trump declared a complete and total ceasefire had been brokered between Israel and Iran, with Qatar playing a key role as a mediator. This agreement brought an end to the immediate hostilities that had caused significant destruction and loss of life. In Israel, at least 24 people were killed, and over 1,000 wounded. In Iran, the toll was far higher, with reports of at least 950 fatalities. The ceasefire, though initially met with some denial from Iranian officials, ultimately held, pulling the region back from the brink of a wider war. The conflict provided a stark demonstration of the current state of military power for both the United States and Iran. For the US, it was a showcase of its technological supremacy and precision strike capability. The successful use of the massive ordnance penetrator bombs proved its ability to destroy even the most hardened and deeply buried targets, effectively neutralizing what was believed to be Iran's most secure nuclear facility. Furthermore, the performance of US and allied missile defense systems in protecting bases and cities highlighted a significant defensive advantage, limiting the effectiveness of Iran's primary offensive weapon system and thereby controlling the scale of the conflict. For Iran, the outcome was more mixed, offering a sobering look at both its capabilities and its limitations. The conflict confirmed that its ballistic missile arsenal is capable of reaching key targets across the region, giving it a credible means of retaliation. Its strategic messaging, particularly the pre-warned strike on Al Udeid, demonstrated a sophisticated approach to crisis management aimed at avoiding catastrophic escalation. However, the high interception rate of its missiles revealed a clear vulnerability against advanced air defenses. The monumental damage to its nuclear program represented a major strategic setback, likely pushing its atomic ambitions back by years and exposing the limits of its ability to protect its most valuable assets from US firepower. Ultimately, the June 2025 showdown has reshaped the military balance in the Middle East. The United States and Israel demonstrated a credible and potent military option for countering Iran's nuclear program. At the same time, Iran proved its willingness to absorb a major blow and retaliate directly, ensuring that any future military action against it will carry significant risks of a broader regional conflict. While the ceasefire holds, the underlying tensions remain. The conflict has left both sides with a clearer and perhaps more dangerous understanding of each other's strengths, weaknesses, and willingness to step to the edge of all-out war.